Summon Dragons 2 has been on my homepage for nearly 200 days, so while I don't claim to be an expert, I still think I can provide you for a fairly decent beginner's guide. So, here's the Summon Dragons 2 Definitive Beginner's Guide. Hey all, how you doing today? I'm CVMG and welcome back to a little bit more Summon Dragons 2. In this video we're going to start with the basics, but by the end of it I will have rolled in some pro tips as well. The first thing I want to talk about here is your Fortune Geyser. Because this is an idle game, this will be one of the main ways you progress your account in the early game. The rewards that you get are based on the chapter that you're on, so you're going to want to push as far as you can in the story challenge. Once you think you've hit a wall and you're getting stuck, then it's time to focus on progression. Always boost your flowing rewards. The first time is free, then it's actually relatively cheap in diamonds to get a few more bonuses. And boosting those flowing rewards will sometimes be a trainer task, which is a steady way to increase your VIP. The traveling portal is another important thing you want to stay on top of. Not only does the content literally do itself and provide you with a quick dispatch button once you've reached a high enough level, these levels can make a huge difference in the rewards you get from this. If it isn't obvious, you're going to want to focus on your dragon nest too and being efficient hatching your eggs on time. Also, while we're here, take a note of that hatching speed buff on the top left. That can be affected by your dragons, which are found in these cozy little huts. And while it can be tempting to only have a loadout of baby dragons that are buffing your team, it's also important to take notice of these little dragonlings because they have really good buffs just for your general stats. And if you are having trouble figuring out where to spend your gold, this is definitely it. You're gonna lose all your gold here. Something that I think people overlook in this game a little bit too much is the guild. Inside the guild we have a plethora of functions and some of which increase our dragon stats. All these classes have stats that need to be increased by collecting these dragon horns, and not only the dragons, but the trainers. So yes, while guild content wasn't prevalent whenever the game first came out, since all the updates it's actually become quite a main staple feature. Guild versus guild is out and ready, so if you don't have a guild, make sure that you join one and sign up for that fight. Also, if you don't know which one to join, here's my guild. There's no level requirement, just logging in is good enough for me. You gotta do your daily challenges, because whenever you do these, firstly, it has a skip button, so it only takes a single second, but secondly, it provides you with guild emblems. Guild emblems are usable in the guild shop, and that can be very helpful in the beginning of the game whenever you need some gear. And participating in guild activities increases your guild points so that you can start the hunt. Doing the guild hunt, of course, provides various rewards, and some of which are very lucrative. Another good thing about doing guild content is all the little tokens that you get to spend in the Bazaar. The Bazaar is actually one of my more favorite parts of this game because yes, while it is just a shop, there's so many tabs on the left and a lot of the tabs have extreme rewards that are like, seriously, extreme. Look at this stuff. It's insane. You're gonna need all these vault keys eventually, and the artifacts are really good for ranking up in PvP. Speaking of which, whenever you unlock that, whenever you go to these artifacts here, you can see your vault. And all of your little artifacts really start to stack up whenever you get a lot of them. Plus, you even have multiple layouts that you can do. But back to the Bazaar, we can see there's just more and more tabs. You can scroll down, and a lot of this stuff is very easy to do. Like in the Skybound Odyssey, which is a new game function, they have literally the best items in the entire game. I even got enough outfit tokens through the Skybound Odyssey to get Anubis' skin. Skins are usually a purely pay-to-win function in a lot of mobile games, but in Summon Dragons 2, you just gotta do this. Fly through the sky. Collect all the gems. As for the bingo board, I highly recommend not to do it. One, just because the rewards are available elsewhere. And two, because the way it works, you can actually get the same tile multiple times. So while you might think you only need to get 40 or 50 pieces, you need to draw like 200 times to fill the board. It's totally not worth it whenever you look in the shop and you see all of this stuff. And one good way to know that a game is active and actively being worked on is the constant updates. Even now, I'm seeing new outfits in the shop that I didn't know existed. And the last real important place we're going to visit on the home island is the arena. I admit, I'm guilty of being lazy in the arena, but lately I decided to take a turn and actually give it a shot. There's already 4 arena modes, and they've come out with another one. I'm literally always shocked whenever I log into this game. I've never done this before in my life, but I'm sure like all arena content, I'm going to want to set a defense, and this formation button next to the lineup is super useful for just instantly deploying your best team. Since I've never done this, I guess we'll explore it together and I'll start the contest. Looks like we have a lot of islands. That's a ton of islands and people to challenge. And I only have one save team. There's several that you can do. All of the skip might be a turnoff to some because people say, hey, I want to see my characters fight. Well, you don't have to press the skip. There is so much content, you're gonna want the skip. So not only do we have the Coliseum of Legends, the Arena of Triumph, the Classic Arena mode, the Amphitheater of Glory, but now we have islands to conquer. Okay, I think it's time to move on from the island portion of this video and start looking at the event icons on the left. This is another spot you'll be spending a lot of your daily time. I like to start with the chat bubble. Always go in your friends list to make sure that you receive and send your gifts. And there's constantly just an influx of mail barraging your mailbox. And if you want to read up on all these updates that are constantly happening, they have that right there too. Events, that's clearly important. You're always going to want to grab your 30-day login because even after your first 30 days, this list is going to reset. And you always want to be aware of what events are going on because all of these events have great prizes, but some of them have farmable triple S's. And if I wasn't savvy to this event being active, I wouldn't know that I couldn't get the draw tickets unless I did some PvP. Anytime they come out with a new dragon, they always have rewards just for getting the dragon and starring them up, which is extremely easy to do with the hundreds of eggs that you get. Of course, they're not going to have all the events active at one time, but they do have a bunch. And all of them are quite unique. You can go ahead and look at their tabs for a quick summary on how they work, and it's usually just a fun mini gamer visual that rewards you with something. If you're feeling like you want to buy a pack, they got an event to keep track of that and give you a little bit of extra on the top. And one of the most important things that I think isn't highlighted clear enough is this dragon hunting journey is the only way in the entire game, besides certain pay-to-win events, to get the dragon beyond. I have every single dragon in the game barring the new SP, and I don't have Beyond. And that would be because in this event, you need to summon 1,100 times to get him. Your advanced summons count towards the event, and your limited summons count towards the event. Now, if I was a new player, I would hold on to your gold summoning stones and save your rainbow summoning stones for whenever a dragon on your team specifically is available. This way, you're still working towards progressing your main team, but you're also not going to be missing out on Beyond forever. Next up is the store. Even if you're not a pay-to-win player, you're going to want to check in on that because they give you daily gifts from every single tab, several sub-tabs. There's just a lot of prizes in here for you to collect. And if you are a pay-to-win player, you want to know the best way to spend your money, I have a video up to guide you on how to do that. And if you're a free-to-play player and you want to know how to spend your diamonds, I have a video up that'll teach you how to do that. I will link both of them in the end cards at the end of this video. Now we're going to kind of backpedal a little bit because if you haven't already done this, you should be theory crafting a team. It's easy to kind of want to use whatever you get or something that looks cool, but some dragons just straight up suck. So there's a couple basic rules you can follow. First of all, we have 3 different types: Cornelian dragons, turquoise dragons, and emerald dragons. A quick summary of each: Cornelian dragons tend to either be very tanky or bursty casters. Turquoise dragons sort of lean in the realm of humongous burst damage and assassination attempts like teleportation and blinking. And emerald dragons, I mean, for the most part, are just summon dragons. Yes, you do have some that are warriors, but if you're doing emerald, you probably want to do a summon team. So whichever gameplay style sounds good to you, pick your color. This is probably the point you're going to want to look up a tier list, because there's so many new dragons and so many changes to previous dragons that I probably couldn't accurately depict for you who exactly was the best or worst. I do have a tier list up, but it's a little bit dated at this point. If you think that I should do a new tier list with all the updated dragons, let me know in a comment and I'll be sure to try and work on that for you. We already went over the Skybound Odyssey, so we'll skip over that and get straight into the temporary events. So all the world content is available right here. I have a video up describing all of this. If you want that, I'll just link it. So we're not going to focus on that per se, but if you look in the bottom left, you can see that the Worm Realm Clash isn't available, but it's coming soon. Now, you may be able to see the Worm Realm Clash in these event icons, but whenever it's not active, you don't. But what if I told you there's events that are available in the icons that aren't actually available in the world? And luckily, we have an example right before our eyes. For the next 10 days, the Cursed Nether is available. So if you want to participate in the Cursed Nether, you're going to have to click that icon. And of course, events like these have the most coveted prizes in the game. So we're going to move past world, but for now, let's wrap this video up with the very last thing on the bottom right, our HUD icons. So this is where you're going to visit most frequently to actually increase your account's progression and your dragon's power. Challenging the story is the route to unlocking all of this content, so at any time, make sure you have an auto battle going, You can also start the idle battle and then close the game, and it'll wrap up while you're offline. Going into your dragons, if you thought getting them to level 240 was tough, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because after you do that, you're going to unlock summit levels, and you'll be hyper evolving and leveling up each dragon to basically level 360. Level them up from the info screen, try and min-max your gear as best as you can. The bare minimum you should be doing with your gear is having relevant set effects and main stats. Like on these gloves, helmet, and boots, these are all attack percent. If I was feeling spicy, I could do crit damage or something, but on my tanks, I make sure that I have sets for HP and that I have HP percent and accuracy because his kit focuses on that. But if you really want to push your account to the next level, try focusing on the substats. You're going to get thousands and thousands of pieces of gear. They're all going to have different substats. Now, the way they increase involves a formula with a dynamic range that could be like anywhere from 4% to 6%. So you're never going to get the perfect gear, but you should always have enough to choose from in order to help maximize your character's potential. Ascension is fairly straightforward. You're going to get the dragon crystals and you're going to forge them. You probably only want to do it on the dragons you actually use. Talents are probably the easiest thing in this game at endgame. I don't think there's a talent I have that I haven't unlocked, and even if there is, I have like 19,000 of this stuff saved up. So don't stress about that. And more importantly, if there's a skin available to one of your dragons, I think there's only 3 skins available in the game right now, but if one of those are an option for you, you want to be grinding for it. And the biggest game changer update they've made involves this potential tab. So if your dragon has this tab available to them, you're going to want to max it. Evolving dragons is about as basic as it gets, yet I still somehow managed to screw it up. So yeah, if you want to start up your dragon, you're going to need copies, and once they reach immortal, you're going to need 2 copies per star. So not only is saving your summons for whenever your dragon is in a banner a good idea for that reason because of the pity, you're also going to get tokens to exchange for more copies of them. I'll tell you what, in here is a very good way to get outfit coins because it's not that expensive, and once you get your skin, it's done. But the main thing you want to focus on here is the spirit orbs. By buying these spirit orbs, they're cheaper than the copies of the actual SSS dragons, and they can be used to substitute the evolution of either an S or a SSS. Don't be like me. Don't use Dragon Spirit Orbs on an S rank. Since I've maxed Achilles, I've gotten maybe 100 copies of them, and poor Loki is just sitting back here with 1 star. My whole team may be completely maxed if I did not waste those Dragon Spirit Orbs, so definitely exercise caution. Next up is the inventory. Now you might be thinking, CVMG, who cares? That's just where your stuff is. And yes, that's true. But there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. I have shards for dragons available to use that I've had for months. I have thousands upon thousands of dragon shards. It's probably not even smart for me to click that button because, oh no, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in a loop. And very often I come in here and see something that I did not realize I had, and sometimes that thing is cards for pieces for one of my main team dragons. Just do yourself a favor, check out all of the little exclamation points in here and make sure you're not missing something very important. Which leads us to the quests. There's a collect all button. Click it after you do all the things you want to do in the game, and you will get rewarded for everything you did. Now this is news to me, but apparently this menu button just brings up everything on your island that you can do. That would have helped me out whenever I was first starting, but hopefully it doesn't help you out anymore because you've already seen this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe or join my Discord, but other than that, y'all, that's gonna do it for me today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.